Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. In today's offline recorded video, we are going to discuss about the histological features of urinary system. We are going to complete this system in this demonstration video. If we take the overview of this urinary system is comprising of paired kidneys in animals and humans as well. Then it consisting of tubes which are conveying the filtrate of kidney, the urine to the bladder. The bladder is a temporary storage area for the urine and then it is conveyed out of the body through urethra. In this particular overview, demonstration video, we will going to cover kidney, ureter, urinary bladder, and we are going to skip the urethra because we are going to discuss it in the reproductive system, respectively for male and female animals. Starting with the kidney in outside is covered by a connective tissue capsule, which is very tough, consisting of dense irregular connective tissue, and outside is dense connective tissue where is perirenal fat around it, which is having adipose tissue in it. This is the outer covering. And if we talk about the connective tissue component within the kidney, the stromal component inside kidney is very rare. Very little connective tissue is found within kidney between the functional unit of the kidneys, which are structural and functional units of the kidney, which are nephrons. If we look at the histological features in all these three micrographs, the low magnified image panoramic view, the area where cursor is moving is showing the outermost component where the collagen fibers are present, a component of the capsule made up of dense irregular connective tissue. And if we magnified that particular part here you can easily distinguish the layered arrangement of the collagen fibers and in between them the basophilic nuclei representing the fibroblast. This is the connective tissue capsule, which is in this particular organ is termed as renal capsule, kidney capsule. If we look at the gross specimen, if you have a look at the gross specimen of the kidney, the capsule is appearing as a shiny, thin sheet covering the kidney from outside. If still you haven't observed, next in upcoming Eve during the slaughtering process, try to observe the kidney from outside. So you will can find that a healthy kidney will have a shiny capsule, a very thin shiny sheet covering it outside. And then its lowermost micrograph, the renal capsule on outside is covered by the perirenal fat, the peripheral fat which is present around kidney. If you take about the overview of the kidney parenchymatous part are arranged in two different areas. The cortex, which is the outer area of the kidney, and then in most of the animals, the inner area is arranged in the pyramid arrangement, which is termed as medullary pyramids, and that inner area is termed as medulla itself. If we look at the component which we can locate in the histological regions in upcoming slides in the cortex and the medulla or ovi, or more easy, more easy words, or we can differentiate between cortex and medulla. The structural unit of the kidney is nephron, and in cortex you will find the renal corpuscle part of the nephron that is only and only present in the cortical area of the kidney. It is not present in the medullary area. Similarly, the first tubular portion, which is originating from the renal corpuscle, which is the proximal convoluted tubule, it is present in the cortex, and then distally it is continuing towards the medulla as thick descending limb, and then the different limbs of the loop of Henle, thin limb, descending limb, and then thin ascending limb. They are all present in the medulla part, and then from the thin ascending limb, you will find a thick ascending limb entering again into the cortical region of the kidney, and there it forms and again a convoluted tubule which is termed as distal convoluted tubule, This distal convoluted tubule, which is not shown in this particular micrograph, has to travel to near the vascular pole of the renal corpuscle of the main same nephron. Here it has to travel, but this schematic diagram it is not shown here. In upcoming slides schematic diagram आपको मैं दोबारा बताऊंगा कि किस तरह उसी नेफ्रॉन का नीचे से दोबारा जब डिस्टल कन्वोल्यूट ट्यूब्यूल कॉर्टेक्स में एंटर होता है it has to travel near to the vascular pole of the renal corpuscle from where the blood vessels are or efferent and afferent arterioles are entering and exiting the renal corpuscle. It has to travel near to them. It have a physiological significance there. And then it counts it distally, then it's conveyed as the collecting duct, and then that collecting tubule is going to open into the large collecting duct, which is going to release all the filtrate from the nephron into the renal papilla, and then from renal papilla it is exiting the kidney through ureter. So this is the basic layout. So we have to now look at an overview, a histological overview. Again, on outside this dark eosinophilic part is showing the renal capsule, and then the first part of the kidney inside capsule has to be cortex. The very classical histological feature of renal cortex or kidney cortex that it is giving you the granular appearance. These rounded granules, actually these are not the granules, these are the renal corpuscles, but these renal corpuscles which are rounded in appearance give the renal cortex on histological micrograph a granular appearance. So area where you will locate the renal corpuscle will belong to renal cortex, and the lower area from that point onward down will be part of the renal medulla. And then from renal medulla, you will find that there are certain rays emerging inside the cortex. Actually, they are not entering from the medulla into the cortex, but these are the initial portion of the collecting tubules, which are starting from inside the cortex and then entering into the medulla. But on histological micrograph, it looked like that some part of the medulla is emerging, entering inside the cortex in the form of rays. On that basis, these rays are termed as medullary rays, but the medulla in its name is the destination of these tubules where they have to enter after starting from the medulla cortex. Sorry. Another low magnified image. Again, you have to distinguish on this low magnified panoramic view which particular this micrograph belongs to cortex, cortical region, which is the medullary region. For that, again, we have to take help from the presence of the granular structures, which are renal corpuscles, and the area where the cursor is moving is showing you the renal corpuscles arrangement. That particular area, all that particular area belongs to renal cortex, and below that, the area which is devoid of the renal corpuscle is the medullary area. And what is very evident in this micrograph that there are different sizes of the cross section of tubes. As we have discussed that kidney don't have much connective tissue, but it have lots of nephrons, about 2 million nephrons in each kidney. So the major portion of the nephron is made up of the tubules, like the proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle is again a tube, then distal convoluted tubule is again a tube, and then collecting ducts, there are again tubes. So in this micrograph, you can easily see lots of cross section of different tubes, and we have to identify these tubules on this micrograph as well in coming slides. Now moving onward, again giving you a schematic diagram and then giving you its histological features. Look at this individual nephron component. The first part is renal corpuscle, and if we cut the renal corpuscle in its cross section, so it will look like this: a bunch of capillary inside, which are the glomerulus, surrounded by a cup-shaped structure, which is the Bowman capsule, or it is again termed as a part of renal corpuscle. So renal corpuscle consisting of a tuft or bunch of capillaries surrounded by a cup-shaped structure, Bowman capsule. So this is the cross section of the renal corpuscle, and then again there are different tubules which are cutting inside the cortex. So there are proximal convoluted tubules here as labeled, and then we have distal convoluted tubules, or we have to differentiate between proximal convoluted tubule and distal convoluted tubule. We'll discuss them when we are going to discuss these tubules individually in coming slides. And then within the medullary region, you can find the nephron loop, its different sections, and then the last part of the collecting tubules, which is the collecting duct in the medulla. In medulla precisely, we have to look at the three different sections of tubes. In cortex, we have to look at the precisely three different structures: the renal corpuscles and its parts, the proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, and then within the renal medulla, we have to look at the nephron loops, loop of Henle, its different components, and then collecting ducts. You can easily distinguish that this simple squamous line duct is thin limb of the loop of Henle, as indicated by these two pointed structures. Then we have a darkly stained cross section lined by simple cuboidal epithelium. This is representing the thick loop of nephron, either representing the ascending or descending loop. And in between them, there are lightly, compared to the thick loop of nephron, these lightly stained areas where the borders of the cells are clearly demarcating. These are the cross sections of collecting ducts. There will be a point, yes, there is a point structure. So these are the three different things which we have to look at: the renal medulla, and above that we have to look at three different structures in the renal cortex as well within kidney. So ये एक overview था दोनों parts का. Now we will discuss individually the cortical part and the medullary part in cortex. The first part which we have to look at is the renal corpuscle. We have given a summarized introduction to this part, that within the renal corpuscle there is, in central part, there is a tuft or network of capillaries coming from the branches of afferent arteriole, which is branching inside the renal corpuscle, and then it is moving out as afferent arteriole. Surrounding this tuft, there is a cup-like structure, which is the Bowman capsule or glomerular capsule. This capsule is further made up of two lining parts. One of the cell lining, the outer part of this renal Bowman capsule is the parietal layer, made up of simple squamous cells, as indicated by this pointed structure. The simple squamous epithelial cells, which are making the outer part of the Bowman capsule, this cup-shaped capsule, is the parietal layer. Then in between them we have the capsular space, and then next we have the vascular layer of this Bowman capsule, which is surrounding these tuft of capillaries as podocytes. पोडोसाइट्स, अगर आपने इसकी थ्योरी पढ़ी हो, रीनल सिस्टम की, या पढ़ेंगे या फिजियोलॉजी में आपने पढ़ी हो, तो वहाँ पे पोडोसाइट्स का वर्ड यूज होगा. पोडोसाइट्स आर एक्चुअली द इनर cell lining of the Bowman capsule, which are covering the tough networks of the capillaries. So basically, in the renal corpuscles, we have to identify the tuft of capillaries. We'll be going to label it as glomerulus. Then the outer layer of the Bowman capsule as parietal layer, which is evident by simple squamous lining cells. And then we don't have to identify, or it is not clearly distinguishable in the micrograph, is the vascular layer made up of the podocytes. Then the part of the renal corpuscles from where the blood vessels are entering or exiting, like afferent arteriole entering and efferent arteriole exiting, that part of the renal corpuscle is termed as vascular pole. And on the opposite side, the part from where the filtrate, which is coming out of these capillaries, is now conveyed to the tubular portions, which the first part of which is proximal convoluted tubule, as abbreviated with PCT, is that end of the glomerulus will be termed as tubular pole or urinary pole. So within this renal corpuscles, we have to identify the tuft, the parietal layer of glomerulus, the capsular space, vascular pole, tubular pole or urinary pole. Urinary pole is the part of this cup which is now continuing in proximal convoluted tubule. And another important feature, we were just discussing that जब distal convoluted tubule medulla से ऊपर की तरफ मूव करता है तो it has to pass near to the vascular pole of its own nephron renal corpuscle. So there it forms along with the arteriole a particular structure that the distal convoluted tubule, the part of distal convoluted tubule lining cell which is facing the arteriole will be in higher density, will be columnar shaped cells, and they are termed as macula densa. And then the modified cells of the arterioles, smooth muscles are the JG operator, juxtaglomerular cells, and then extramesangial cells. Collectively, these three cells, JG cells, extramesangial cells, and macula densa, they collectively form an apparatus which is juxtaglomerulus apparatus. If you have studied about the renal physiology, there you must have gone through the functional significance of JG apparatus. So it is basically made up of three different kinds of components. The macula densa, which is the densely packed cell layer part of the distal convoluted tubule of the same nephron. The macula JG cells itself, which are the modified smooth muscle cells of the efferent arteriole, and then the extramesangial glomerular cells, extraglomerular mesangial cells. Though these three cells form the JG apparatus. These are the different features which we have to look at. This histological micrograph. Now look at this methine slide, silver methine stained kidney slide, where the central part is the glomerulus. Around this is the vascular space, and then from where this tuft is emerging is termed as vascular pole, and the outside, the other side where the proximal convoluted tubule is connected with the vascular space is termed as the tubular pole or urinary pole. And then we can look at the cross section of the proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule like here, and then distal convoluted tubule lining cells which are making a dense population here along the vascular pole are termed as macula densa. ये हम आगे दोबारा से देखेंगे. Again, a very good H&E stain slide where the renal corpuscle is quite magnified part. You can look at this glomerulus, the tuft of capillaries surrounded by a space which is the capsular space, and then the outer part of the Bowman capsule which is lined by simple squamous epithelial cell is the parietal layer of Bowman capsule. The visceral layer is made up of podocyte which is present and covering these glomerulus tuft inside. And then around here again you can easily identify the vascular pole, the pole from where this bunch of capillary is emerging inside this capsular space, and the other urinary pole is not evident in this micrograph. Outside there are a lot of cross sections there, and some of them are presenting the proximal convoluted tubule and some of them are part of the distal convoluted tubule, as distal convoluted tubule is here. Again, a magnified part showing the glomerulus with all the parts being labeled here. Now we are moving towards the last part where this black line is indicating how this cup-like cup-shaped structure of the Bowman capsule is formed. This is the visceral layer which is covering the glomerulus, not evident. Then the simple squamous epithelial layer, as evident here, is the parietal layer, and collectively these two layers form the Bowman capsule, and the central part of the Bowman capsule is the glomerulus, the tuft of capillaries. This is the vascular pole, and then here you can easily identify the densely populated cell part of the cross section of distal convoluted tubule making the macula densa. Again, Here is the macula densa. This is the distal convoluted tubule cross section. And look, here the cells are not densely populated, but the part of the distal convoluted tubule which is facing the vascular pole efferent arteriole, the cells are not densely populated. They are grouped together to form a specific structure of the Golgi apparatus, which is macula densa. And then here they have labeled the podocytes, the visceral layer of the Bowman capsule. Then we have the capsular space, and then simple squamous epithelial lining the outside of the Bowman capsule is the parietal layer. And here the urinary pole is also evident, and we have some part of the proximal convoluted tubule जहाँ पे ये capsular space open हो रही है और filtrate पहुँच जाता है. If we look at the cortical component of the tubules, which are proximal convoluted tubules, distal convoluted tubules, this is a very summary of the two structures. Comparative structures इस तरह से क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है. If we look at the cortical part, the more cross sections will belong to proximal convoluted tubule compared to distal convoluted tubule. Proximal convoluted tubule have a larger diameter usually compared to distal convoluted tubules. As it have a larger size, so nucleus are sparse. There are less number of cells which are making this tubule compared to the more crowded nuclei as evidenced by this schematic diagram. The lumen could be fully obscured, semi-full, or it could give a satellite appearance due to the microvilli or brush border appearance. The apex of the cells are giving the brush border-like appearance due to the large microvilli there. But on the other side, the lumen is appearing empty in distal convoluted tubule. It is comparatively wider lumen. Size में तो छोटा होगा distal proximal convoluted tubule से distal convoluted tubule, but इसका lumen थोड़ा wide होगा compared to proximal convoluted tubule, but empty होगा. It will exhibit low microvilli there. And if we look at the staining affinity, जो लाजमी नहीं कि हर जगह नजर आए, तो proximal convoluted tubule will appear darkly stained, and the distal convoluted tubule will appear lightly stained with more open lumen. So these are the few comparative features जो आपको हेल्प आउट करेंगे एक माइक्रोग्राफ में या होमवर्क शीट में आपने किस तरह से proximal convoluted tubules को डिफरेंशिएट करना है distal convoluted tubules. Looking at a micrograph, जहाँ पे distal और proximal convoluted tubule नजर आएंगे वो किडनी का कौन सा पार्ट होगा? Cortex. So you have to label in your homework sheet. If you're looking at the kidney, so you have to label if you're looking at the cortical part or the cortex or the medullary part or the medulla of the kidney. In this particular micrograph, we are looking at the cortical part, and all the cross sections which are having a D inside the lumen are representing the distal convoluted tubule. Their lumen is appearing wide, not filled. There are more cells in them compared to the proximal convoluted tubule where the lumen is obscured and the luminal side of the cell is appearing showing pointed ends, or the lumen is appearing filled due to the stained area. These two features could be due to the brush border-like appearance. That brush border appearance giving the lumen the obscured nature, and then the proteinous secretions present in the lumen giving it the pinkish appearance. Again, a cortical component where there are glomerulus, and around glomerulus there are different cross sections there. Look at the distal convoluted tubule parts. They have a wider lumen. They have a narrow wall thickness and a very prominent light central lumen. On the opposite side, the proximal convoluted tubule have an obscured lumen due to the microvilli, brush border appearance, and the secretions present there, or actually the proteinous components present in the lumen. Within medulla of the kidney, we have to look at the vasa recta, which are the thin blood vessels surrounding the loop of Henle. Then we have to look at the thin loop of Henle, which is very thin walled. If we look at its lining epithelium, so it is lined by simple squamous epithelium, और ये सिंपल स्क्वेमस एपिथेलियम बिल्कुल सेम होगी एडजेसेंट वादा रेक्टा के एंडोथेलियम के साथ। दोनों को डिफरेंशिएट कैसे करना है, इनको हम आगे माइक्रोग्राफ में डिफरेंशिएट करेंगे। थिन सेगमेंट्स, लूप ऑफ फनले के सेगमेंट्स में आरबीसीज नहीं होंगे, ब्लड नहीं होगा, बट वादा रेक्टा क्योंकि ब्लड फिल्ड कैपिलरीज हैं तो उनके अंदर लाजमी तौर पे आरबीसीज मौजूद होंगे। देन वी विल लुक एट द असेंडिंग एंड डिसेंडिंग थिक लिम्स ऑफ द nephrons which are present in the medulla. They are lined by cuboidal epithelium. Their cuboidal epithelium appear dark stained compared to the cuboidal epithelium which is lining the collecting tubules. तो ये हमने जरूर डिफरेंस करना है कि असेंडिंग लूप को कलेक्टिंग डक्ट से किस तरह से डिफरेंशिएट करना है। अगर हम कलेक्टिंग डक्ट्स की कलेक्टिंग ट्यूब्यूल्स की तरफ बात करें, which is the initial portion of the collecting duct, whereas in starting inside the cortex and then entering into the medulla through medullary rays, we have just discussed previously. So they are again lined by simple cuboidal epithelium, which are lightly stained compared to the simple cuboidal epithelium of the ascending thick limbs, and then again lightly stained cells के दरमियान जो सेल बाउंड्री है, बॉर्डर्स हैं बिटवीन सेल्स, वो क्लियरली विजिबल होंगे, जो कि केस नहीं होगा थिक लूप के अंदर। अब यही सारी चीजें हम नेक्स्ट माइक्रोग्राफ में अटेम्प्ट करेंगे। Look at these two micrographs. These two micrographs are representing the medullary part. This CT is representing the collecting tubules, which are comparatively lightly stained. Cell boundary is comparatively evident, and adjacent to them, look at this cross section where the cursor is moving. It is comparatively darkly stained, lined by again simple cuboidal epithelium, but the cell boundary is not evident. This is representing the thick limb of the loop of Henle, and then the last limb, which is the thin limb, is again lined by simple squamous epithelium, where the nucleus is flattened but bulging inside the lumen. This is the thin loop of the Henle. तो मेडुला के इस पार्ट के अंदर आपने तीन चीजों को डिफरेंशिएट करना है, कलेक्टिंग ट्यूब्यूल्स को, थिक लिम्स ऑफ loop of Henle, and then thin limbs of loop of Henle lined by simple squamous cells. And then the last part of the medulla inside, deep inside kidney, which is facing the renal pelvis, where the epithelium is now changed as transitional epithelium. Those large ducts which are just entering into the renal pelvis, those are termed as collecting ducts, and they are again lined by simple cuboidal epithelium, but they are adjacent to the renal pelvis. मेडुलरी रेज अगेन वी हैव जस्ट डिस्कस इनिशियली, समरी हमने दी थी कि फील ऐसे होगा कि जिस तरह मेडुला से कुछ लाइटली स्टेन्ड एरियाज पेनिट्रेट कर रहे होंगे रेज की सूरत में, फिंगर लाइक प्रोजेक्शंस की सूरत में इनसाइड कॉर्टेक्स। कॉर्टेक्स कैसे फील होगा, जहां पे हमें ग्रेनुलर अपीयरेंस नजर आएगी रीनल कॉर्पसल्स की या ग्लोमेरुलाई की, एज इंडिकेटेड हियर। So these projecting portions, which are appearing as projecting from the medulla inside the cortex, are termed as medullary rays, but actually the medullary rays are having the straight segments, collecting tubules, and loop of Henle, some portions, initial portions here. So those initial portions collectively, loop of Henle का कुछ straight component, collecting tubules, ये components मिलके जब initially मेडुला कॉर्टेक्स से मेडुला की तरफ आ रहे होते हैं तो उन लाइटली स्टेन्ड एरियाज को हम मेडुलरी रेज कहते हैं। एंड जस्ट लुक एट दिस मोर मैग्नीफाइड पोर्शन, दिस ग्लोमेरुलाई is indicating that you are visualizing a cortical portion. Around this there are a lot of distal and proximal convoluted tubule cross section, and in between them there is a ray coming from the medulla, appearing like that it is coming from medulla and entering into the cortex, but actually it is starting from cortex and then going towards the medulla. This largely cross-sectional collapsed profile are representing the collecting ducts, tubules of the medullary rays here, lined by simple cuboidal epithelium. Now it is a summary. We'll look at different components. This is renal corpuscle. Adjacent to it, there is macula densa component of the distal convoluted tubule, and then they have shown how what type of cell are lining and what are their basic features. In proximal convoluted tubule, the nucleus is appearing round, giving it a cuboidal nuclei appearance, and then it have lots of microvilli on its brush border appearance proximal end. Then proximal straight tubules, again, the first part which is coming from proximal convoluted tubule, which will be lined by cuboidal cell, it will have lots of brush border microvilli, but compared to the proximal convoluted tubule, they are less. Then inside the loop of Henle, the descending thin loop is lined by simple squamous epithelial cells. The ascending thin loop is again lined by simple squamous epithelial cells, and then the thick ascending loop is again lined by cuboidal cells due to the rounded nucleus here, where poorly developed microvilli. Then the distal convoluted tubule is again lined by cuboidal cells due to their rounded nucleus, and but their apical border is poorly developed microvilli is shown here. And then the last part of the nephron is the collecting ducts. They are again lined by simple cuboidal cells, but their boundary between cells is quite evident on micrographs. Again, another summary where the color different areas are shown here. The orange color cross section is representing the proximal convoluted tubule, and it is evident that there is a brush border like appearance. Darkly stained area cross section के अंदर, then this green arrow, green color cross section is showing the distal convoluted tubule, where the staining affinity is light, the lumen is white without brush border like appearance. Then we have the blue color cross section indicating the collecting ducts lined by cuboidal epithelium, but the boundary between cell, adjacent cell, is quite evident, which is not the case in distal convoluted tubule or proximal convoluted tubule. And then the yellow area micrograph is indicating the thin loop of Henle lined by simple squamous cells where the nucleus is bulging inside the luminal side. Now moving toward the ureter, it is a tube which wall is made up of three tunics. The tunica submucosa is absent, so we are left with tunica mucosa, tunica muscularis externa, tunica adventitia. In ureter, the tunica mucosa is lined by transitional epithelium, which is urothelium also, or urinary epithelium. It is only present in urinary system, so that's why it is termed as urinary epithelium or urothelium. Below epithelium, there is lamina propria, which is more fibrous and dense towards epithelium, and towards the next muscular layer, it is comparatively loose. The muscularis externa is made up of smooth muscles. Here, the muscular arrangement is quite different from the digestive system. In upper two-thirds of the ureter tube, there are only two muscle layers, inner longitudinal and outer circular. Why I have written middle? Because in the lower one-third of the ureter, there is an additional outer longitudinal smooth muscle appearance. But on micrograph, the easier point for you people is it is quite difficult to distinguish between the layer arrangement of the middle, circular, outer longitudinal, and inner longitudinal layer. Outside ureter is covered by adventitia because it is retroperitoneal in its position, so it is not surrounded by serosa. The adventitia is fibroelastic connective tissue with lots of adipose tissue having blood vessels, nerves in it. Looking at an actual micrograph taken from your book, this is the luminal side. The lining of the wall facing luminal side is epithelium, which is transitional epithelium. Below transitional epithelium, this is lamina propria. The part of lamina propria which is towards epithelium, it is more fibrous compared to the part of lamina propria which is towards the muscular layer. And then here in this micrograph, there are two muscular layers of muscular externa, inner longitudinal, appearing in their cross section, and then spindle shaped cells are the outer circular layer here in this particular area. And then outside there is connective tissue with lots of adipose and blood vessels forming the adventitia. Similarly, in this slide where the stain is not an H&E stain slide used, is not an H&E stain. The luminal side is lined by transitional epithelium. Below epithelium, this pinkish fibrous area is lamina propria, and then outside lamina propria there are the muscle layers indicated by the purplish color area in this particular example, and then outside this fibrous component with blood vessels is again adventitia. In urinary bladder, compared to ureter, the bladder is a sac, now tube first. Second, its wall is quite thick compared to the ureter. The wall of urinary bladder is quite thick. Its layered arrangement is similar to the lower one-third of the ureter, except that it is very thick. Means इसमें भी 3 layers होंगी muscles की, inner longitudinal, outer longitudinal, and middle circular, which quite incidentally are quite evident here, जो बहुत मुश्किल होता है identify करना. Its wall of the urinary bladder is again the sac is made up of 3 tunics, same as ureter. Tunica mucosa, tunica submucosa is absent, then tunica muscularis externa, and then tunica serosa because it is surrounded by, on one side, by the serous membrane in the body cavity. The first part of tunica mucosa facing the luminal side is epithelium, transitional epithelium. Below epithelium there is lamina propria. Outside lamina propria there is muscular layer which is very thick. This thickness of the muscular layer give its wall the thickness which we are discussing here. And then outside there is connective tissue surrounded by mesothelium, simple squamous epithelium, giving it the tunica serosa appearance. Again, a magnified image where the upper part, the overall wall is quite thick. The luminal side is lined by transitional epithelium. Below epithelium, there is a very thin amount of connective tissue. Below that, which is lamina propria, below that, there is a very well developed layer of muscularis externa. And then outside muscularis externa has to be adventitia. Oh, sorry, serosa here in case of bladder. With this, we are now finished with the demonstration video. I have just prepared the homework sheet. So I am going to share all the links with you people in your groups so you can easily go through the demonstration video, homework sheet, and we will discuss the summary of this in upcoming Thursday class, which is scheduled on 11 p.m. for group B and 11 a.m. sorry for group B and 2 p.m. for group A respectively.